Once again, if you guys like the content we provide, then be sure to subscribe to the channel today so you don't miss any of the upcoming content. We are out here for the open test at the 109th Indianapolis 500 as we get set for a month of May, as well as the NHRA Route 66 Nationals. And without further ado, let's get into the video. There's something special when you get to go to the Indianapolis Motor Speedway and get to see cars running on the oval, and for the first time this month, this is what we get to experience as the first day of the Indianapolis 500 Open Test has wrapped up here from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. We had a kind of a slow start. We had a Wi-Fi connection issue that caused race control to go out. That set us behind for about 2 hours. We only got really the install laps completed, kind of the same way of how last year started, where we had the install laps and then it rained for the rest of the session. We didn't get to see anybody on track. Now we got to see a full session of cars as we got through the veterans refresher, the rookie orientation, and then got a final 3-hour session end out the day as we, instead of ending at 6, ended it at 7. And thank God we did. There's a lot of interesting stories that came out of today's test sessions. First off, we had an issue in the morning session of the day where we saw 2 issues with cars, both of them being Chevys. Jack Harvey had a hybrid failure on his race car that caused him to go to the garage, cost him most of the day, and only got him to be able to come back out at the end of the day for a few laps. Santino Ferrucci then followed up by having a catastrophic engine failure in his AJ Foyt Racing number 14 Chevrolet. That sent him as well back to the garage, and he only was able to come out in the final 20 minutes of practice, only set a couple of laps to get a handle on the car before we go into tomorrow, where they're going to boost up the boost pressure on the cars to qualifying trim. So a crazy day that ended up getting even weirder. Kyle Larson was delayed in his rookie orientation because of a radio issue on his car, but on top of that as well, he also had engine issues that set him back a couple of hours that costed him time, so he was unable to complete it as fast as he would have liked. As you're going to see the cars coming behind me, I'm not exactly sure what this is. That's Will Power. We saw Scott McLaughlin out here just a minute ago doing it the same thing, and then Kyle Larson, I believe, was right beforehand. I think they're shooting more Fox commercials, so for people who wanted more than just Pato O'Ward, Alex Palou, and Joseph Newgarden, you're getting your wish. I think they're doing that right now. But yeah, a really weird day. And to cap it all off, we had our first contact of the month on day number 1 of the year. Graham Rahal, in the final 20 minutes of the session, was getting really close to the walls, exiting the corners, and then finally in turn 3, he did nick the wall. Was lucky enough to save the car and keep it from wrecking right in front of the entire field, but that did cause a caution that only was able to allow us to have, I believe, maybe 9 minutes left of racing when they got back green. So a crazy day top to bottom. But of course, like I mentioned earlier, tomorrow they're going to be putting the qualifying boost out. It should get even crazier than it is now. And thankfully, we had a chance to talk to some of the drivers as they get set for tomorrow and see what their checklists are and see how important it is to have those extra few hours of qualifying trim.
Well, for us, I mean, I don't think we're going to get to any Q stuff tomorrow, so it's just going to be having fun with the high boost, where I think we should be racing these cars on this track, not just qualifying them, but actually I think that'd be a really cool test too for IndyCar to see that, because I don't think a lot of us after a day are going to be comfortable enough to go full Q trim, but you never know. People are pretty ballsy around this place, but I'm just curious to see if that's a boost level we can actually race for 500 miles, so and sustain. So that'd be more on my checklist than anything else.
Honestly, I think for us, we are not really super thrilled about just going out there and doing qualifying stuff. I think it's very much just going to be like, hey, let's make sure it all runs correctly. We're not one person on this grid is going to go out there and be like, hey, let's trim this sucker out and try to get a bunch out of it, because no one wants to show anything yet. So I think it's more for the manufacturers. It's important for them to understand what we need to dial into the car. But it certainly will be exciting. I mean, certainly for us to feel more power is always fun. So I'm excited for it. But I don't want to do a ton of laps, honestly.
So you guys are just going to hold off on the PR laps until Fast Friday?
No PR laps for us. I think we just want to get a feel for it. This day is more important to get the balance dialed in, because I think they haven't had a lot of oval drivers drivers in this team and ever. So they've obviously got a philosophy that is a little bit different to what I'm used to. So we're just going to work on it. We're going to work on it and keep tuning as we go.
Yeah, I mean, it's great that we have a chance to try it like we've never had it before until Fast Friday. And normally Fast Friday it's been pretty bad with weather or wind that suddenly wasn't feeling great with the car. So yeah, it's good. I think it's early as well. Like I need more laps to try and get the car balanced and comfortable to then throw in like 10 more miles an hour at the end of the straight or a little bit more. So yeah, I'm excited for tomorrow, but we still have a lot to learn this afternoon to try and get the best tomorrow morning.
Can we expect at all that you guys are maybe going to do a full qual sim, or just kind of like get it out there, see, check all the boxes, everything's fine, and then pack it up?
No, the idea is to try and do quali sims, like full-on quali sims, as many as we can. Yeah,
it's important. It's just important to make sure we get a feel of the balance and the handling before we start taking the downforce off for any qualifying. So I think it's just a good idea to, we have an idea on setup, but you only know if it's good once you're out there running. So I think we'll be fine. I've driven this car in October and we were pretty quick, so not expecting anything less.
And looking at the results for today's open test, we're only going to show you the top 10 because that's really all that's going to matter so far here. And a surprising sweep of Hondas. 9 out of the top 10 are all Honda-powered cars. Dixon will lead the charge with a 225.182 to round out the day. Joseph Newgarden, the only Chevy and the two-time defending champion, rounds out second. Takuma Sato turning a lot of heads to start off the month of May. He is a car that could really have a shot of winning his 30 Indianapolis 500. The pace that we're seeing out of his RL Honda is what it truly is. Marcus Armstrong rounds out fourth. Colton Herta back in fifth. Alex Palou, the three-time champion, ends up in the sixth position. Elio Castroneves, the four-time winner, in seventh. Felix Rosenquist rounds out a Meyer Shank Racing top 10 in eighth. Marco Andretti, a surprising run down in ninth. And Kyle Kirkwood, your Long Beach winner, rounds out the top 10. For anybody wondering where Kyle Larson is, he is just below the mark at a 223.430, rounds him out in 11th. Speaking of Kyle Larson, we had an opportunity to talk to him after practice here today, where he came into the media center for a couple minutes, and I got to ask him the question about what it's like coming back here as an Indianapolis 500 veteran, but also a Brickyard 400 champion.
Yeah, I don't know. I just, I don't know. Because I'm here in IndyCar, like I don't feel like, I feel like it's a totally different environment, so I haven't really thought about the Brickyard and winning that. So, but no, I mean, it is, it's great to know that I've won here on the oval, and it would be even neater to win in IndyCar now. But yeah, that Brickyard 400 was one of my most special wins for sure. Just getting to win at an iconic venue like this with all the history between everybody who's raced here and won here. So yeah, it was an awesome experience, and looking to add to it hopefully next month.
And that is going to wrap up our day one recap here of the Indianapolis 500 Open Test. We'll be back here tomorrow to see what it's like with the qualifying trim on as we get ready for the 100 nights running at the 500. I will not be here for the end of the day, however, as I'm going to be leaving as soon as to take the qualifying boost off as I make the trip down to Charlotte for the NHRA 4-Wide National. So if you want to see the live coverage from the Charlotte Motor Speedway, the ZMAX Dragway, then be sure to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss any of the content coming up from that as we get set for the 1000s NHRA Top Fuel Race, as well as the first race since Tony Stewart has become an NHRA Top Fuel winner. Be sure to follow us on all social media pages down below, Mighty Mac on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. Thank you so much to our friends at Peak Performance for sponsoring this month of May. And until the Charlotte 4-Wide Nationals, this is Mighty Mac. We'll see you next time.